First thing we're going to do is went ahead and turned off power to the light switch at the circuit breaker. And you always want to double check, make sure you did that. And we have an extension cord to another room with a light. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the faceplate off. Usually these are 2 flathead screws. Next we're going to do the 2 screws holding the actual light switch. You're going to pull this out. Get a bunch of wires in here. Okay, so you have the 2 wires going into the light switch. These are going to be your load wires, the L1 and the L. And you can see here where they're tied in. This here white one is going to be your neutral, and this uncoated one is going to be your ground. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to use these right here are set screws. They clamp down onto the wire that's in here. There's different styles of different light switches, but first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the load wires. Loosen up these screws. It's a little bit of an older light switch, so I'm going to take them out all the way. I'm just pulling this out. Okay.
So here I'm clipping the end pieces to make it a little bit shorter. Then you want to unscrew that those screws in your back of your wall socket right there, and then you want to fish in those wires directly into there. My negative is going into the negative side, then the ground is going in, and then my hot wire will be put in to the last part.
And a couple of screws. So as you can see, the power is off right now. It's not doing anything. Now, one thing to note is this only works with a single pole switch. So you need to make sure that it's only a single pole for this to work. You also need a neutral wire, which is usually the bare wire here. So now first, before you even take apart your old switch, you're going to want to go to your breaker, which is usually in the garage, at least it is for me. It might be in your closet or whatever. You need to find the breaker that cuts the power to this switch. Then once you do that, I use this tester here just to double check. You touch it to the wires. As long as it stays green, that means it's not hot and you won't get electrocuted. Once you do that, you take all the wires off your old switch. Then what you usually have is your neutral, which is usually bare or green. I have 2 blacks, or you'll have a black and a white. You need to separate these 2 wires. I did, at least. You need to find out which one's hot. So I just separated the wires so they were away from each other, turned the power on, and then I touched this to each wire. When it turned red, it told me which wire was hot. So once you find that out, then you can go ahead and install. So this first hole here, which has an L, is the hot. The next one over was the ground. And then the very last one here was my neutral. It could be different for you. You need to look at the instructions and make sure that you're installing it correctly, because if you don't, you can cause a fire, you can get electrocuted. If you don't know what you're doing, please call an electrician. So once you have that installed, and I'll just push all this in here. You need to make sure that it fits inside your little cutout here too. So if you're like me and the new screws didn't fit into the hole, I just use my old ones. It's not that big of a deal. And just make sure you don't over tighten the screws here. You just want them snug. Don't strip them. All right? And make sure that the plastic tube isn't starting to bend. Once you have everything installed, you're going to go ahead and go back to your breaker and turn on the power. All right, the power is turned on, and now watch when you touch it, it turns blue and turns the lights on. It's very quick. Okay guys, so once you have it installed and you have the power on, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your finger and just hold it onto the plate until you see a little blue light rapidly flashing. Okay, so now it's flashing. So then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Play Store and download the Smart Life app. Now keep in mind this only works on the 2.4 gigahertz signals. So make sure your phone is on the 2.4. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit the little plus sign at the top, go to wall switch, and then confirm that the indicator is rapidly blinking, and go ahead and hit that. And then you're going to put in your Wi-Fi password. Okay, so it's connecting. The little blue light will continue to stay on, and it will go ahead and successfully add the device. Then right here you can change it. Change the name. I've changed it to mood lighting. We're done. Here's the switch. On. Off. Now as far as setting it up with your Google Home, you go into your Google Home app. Make sure you're connected to the Wi-Fi. You go up here. You go to Home Control. As you see, I already have it added, but what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and hit the little plus sign. You're going to scroll down and find the Smart Life. It'll be like almost all the way down at the bottom. It'll be somewhere in here. You're going to click on that. Make sure you registered on the Smart Life app, so you're going to have to create an account. And when you click on that, it'll bring up a place to log into your Smart Life. And then once that happens, it'll say registered, and then it'll show up on your list right here, and then you're done. Turn on mood light.
Okay, turn the mood light on.
Hey Google, turn off mood light.
Okay, turn the mood light off.
Now if you want to set it up with the Amazon Echo, you go into the Play Store and download the Amazon Alexa app. You're going to create an account. Then once you are all done setting up the app, you're going to hit the three little buttons up top here. You're going to go into your skills. You're going to search for Smart Life. As you can see, it'll look like this. You click on it. Yours will say enabled. So you just enable the skill and you're all done. Alexa, turn on mood light. Alexa, turn off mood light. So there's one last thing I wanted to show you on the Smart Life app, how to set your schedule. So down here, you just click timer, add schedule, and then you can set the time you want it to go on. Hit down here, you can select which days you would like this to work with. And then you do the same thing for the off. You set a schedule for the off too.